Marshall Falk always told me, don't tell somebody congratulations after they've played a career because, there's still more to go. And I know you're one of those folks who has still more to write, more chapters to write. But I do want to offer you congratulations. Not a lot of
Thank you.
people have a career like the one that you just finished, Tyrann. And I'm wondering what your thoughts are right now.
Well, thanks, Rich. I
You're
mean,
welcome.
that really means a lot to me. Honestly, man, the thing that I can really um, reflect back on or really point to is that, you know, it was the coaches. It was the teammates I had, man. Like I was so blessed. I was so fortunate. And I tell dudes all the time, it's like, when I came into the league, man, at 20 years old, right? With everything that I had kind of been through, Arizona was just such a great place for me to get drafted. You know, um, Patrick Peterson was there. Larry Fitzgerald was there. Calais Campbell. The Dwight Freeneys and Darnell Dockett's, Carlos Dansby's, Rashad Johnson's, Gerard Powers. I mean, all these guys played 10 years plus, in the NFL. And what I respected the most about those guys was that professionalism, each and every day. And I think being a young guy, coming from where I come from and the experiences that I had, in the years before, to be around guys that just took it serious, right? Like, and, played great football. I talk about Larry all the time. And it's like, it was a blessing to be able to, have that experience, early on. And I really do feel like that really kind of set the stage for me to be, not just a really good football player, but someone that the community could be proud of. And so I was definitely blessed, man, to say the least.
Was there a reputation you had to live out of, to get out of? Because obviously there's reputations that you just mentioned in that locker room that you joined that you'd have to live up to. But what about the way you were born into the league and the way things ended at LSU that you had to deal with as a kid
Yeah,
now amongst men, Tyrann?
yeah, yeah. I mean, for me, man, I always felt like I was a good leader, and but at times I don't think I was leading the right way. And I think what I went through at LSU was, I think it was reflective of that. So I think by the time I got to the NFL and, really got around guys that um, just as much, of a superstar they was also, a really good person, and so I wouldn't say like that it was much that I had to change. If not, it was just me believing in myself a little bit more. Um, and obviously part of it is you being hard on yourself. I think that's gotten me a long way. But over the course of those years, man, you find yourself realizing that the best way to love yourself is to give yourself some grace at times. And I feel like I've given myself a little bit of grace, but that's kind of been able to really help me, stay humble and stay reflective of, everything, that's happened, in the past.
Why'd you decide to retire? What went through that?
Oh man, I think, man, being healthy, Rich, being healthy, I think being in a great space mentally and emotionally, I think it gives you the opportunity to really do what you want to do, with your life. And I think football has really, played such a big role in my life. I'll always see myself a part of the game, really, in one way or another, whether I'm coaching or, doing something else. But, I think, man, it gets, I think the older I've gotten, man, it just gets harder and harder to lead the kids, man. And, you want to be there and experience life with them. I feel like they've experienced so much of my life, right? And I haven't experienced nearly as much of their life as I would like. And so I just feel like it's just a good opportunity for me. I've done it all. I've seen it all. I've made some great, great, lasting, relationships. And I think I'm happy. I'm happy. I think I'm content with the way my career, played out, and all the challenges I had and the injuries and just everything I kind of dealt with early on to be able to kind of overcome that and still reach like all of my highest goals and dreams. It's been a blessing. I don't think this is not a sad day for me. I'm extremely excited. I'm really looking forward to life's next challenge and, really hoping that, whatever it is I do, I can do it well and I can be happy doing it.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.